How's it going, everybody? Today I'm joined by DJ Alu. What's your full name? Alu.
Aluwodi Kanyama.
Aluwodi Kanyama.
Yeah. People just call me Alu for short.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Today we're going to be having an entrepreneurial conversation, talking about his endeavors and what has led him to where he is right now at this point in life. So I'm pretty excited. I don't know about you guys, but without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So please, known as DJ Alu, I'm going to stick to that.
Yeah, easy.
Please introduce yourself. And
hey, yes, so my name is Alu. So I'm kind of, I don't know if I should keep the DJ part, but because it kind of boxes you into just one thing.
Yeah.
But why not? And then I'm primarily a DJ. That's my first love more than anything. Yeah. It's kind of what's got me to where I am, which is kind of unplanned, to be honest, if I'm going to be very honest with you. Producer, anything voice related, and also like club owner, part club owner currently,
Nice, perfect. So to jump right into it, so if you were to share something right now, no, and you were to give someone, let's say, advice in the creative industry, why should they listen to you? Why do you think they should listen to you?
Why should they listen to you?
Yeah.
To be very honest with you, I can't tell you why you should listen to me. All I can say is that I'm very honest about how I see things. What might work for me won't necessarily work for you. But I can tell you a whole story of so many experiences that I believe in between all of that jungle of highs and lows, there's something that you can take. So more than anything, I think that is why I would say if you want to listen to me, that is the value that I can add.
All right, perfect. Then with that being said, let's jump right into it. So you are a DJ, creative, producer, you've done voiceovers, the entertainment industry, and parts club owner, you've said. So tell me a little bit about the club in this whole clubbing industry, the entertainment industry. How is it? Is it challenging?
Oh, it's very challenging, especially the way it started for us. Because like I said, I believe the way Origin started could be like a documentary on its own. Because we literally started, and it was our opening night. The next week we have to close because we have the first COVID-19 cases reported in Vinton.
When you told me about it, when you told me about it, I thought it would be like 6 months later. No, but literally you open today, next week.
Then they're like, okay, no, this can't be. Then we on our own decide, guys, okay, we don't know what this is. Let's close, just for the safety of everyone. And then the next thing we hear on Monday, it's mandatory shutdown for everyone. And I believe anyone can tell you that was the most surreal thing any of us have ever been through. I think if you look back at it now, when we think of how we had to go to the grocery store, I remember I was with one of my friends. We went to the grocery stores and he just sneezed. And everyone was there. Everybody was freaking out. We went from those times to like, you can only be with 50 people at a time, and then not even going to the amount of people that were lost, and not many people could actually mourn the people they lost properly. It was very surreal. So now I'm getting like distracted just talking about the pandemic, but now opening up an establishment that's literally based on social interaction, and that was the thing that was kind of vilified, and rightly so. It was difficult. And even within the whole construct of it, because nobody was really giving us any form of help. And it's like, because alcohol was banned, so it was also seen as a major contributing factor to the spread of the pandemic and everything like that. So with everything that was brought upon you, really had to think outside the box. And it was very testing. Like, it was mentally testing, it was draining. And you kind of had to think outside the box as much as possible.
I've been listening to this one guy, and he was speaking about COVID and how I think the worst part about COVID is the fact that I think in the world we'd generally gotten used to easy things. Because you were speaking about how, like, if you were born in 1900, by the time you're 50 years old, you would have experienced the Spanish flu and 2 world wars. and that's a pretty tough life. But now, if you're born like in later on, like let's say from 1980 onwards, I mean, there's of course like the 2008.
It also depends where in the world you are.
Yeah.
Because there's not.
Okay.
There are
True,
people who all they've known is war.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's all relative in the end. But for the most part, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. But still, it humbled everyone.
You
So,
know, 100%.
you know, you
100%. Yeah.
But I'll say I was pretty privileged though, because like I was on the farm. On the farm, there's no regulations. You know, we're out until like 12 p.m. Sometimes I'm with my cousin. We go out into the bush, get our sound system. He starts DJing and all that. So that was pretty nice, but obviously not for most people. So and yeah, tell me. So transitioning from that from the COVID time. When would you say it started getting better for you? Then you guys, and when you finally had the doors open, and then business.
There were moments even within the pandemic where I would say, we had very decent times, because the thing is, what I did like is we could, like I said, we could get creative.
Yeah.
And we were very blessed to have like an outdoor space. So what we would do, and something that I personally miss a lot, was daytime parties.
Yeah.
Then you go home because there's a curfew. You wake up at a decent time. You go to bed at a decent time. You wake up at a decent time. And you have a good amount of time during the day to party.
Yeah.
You know? But then funny enough, when we went back to things being normal, we struggled a bit.
Really?
Because people weren't really used to staying out that long.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole thing where the club would peak at 12, and then after that we're like, okay, what now?
That's crazy.
You know, so it was a whole adjustment. It was a constant wave of adjustments, and I would say, I can't even pinpoint the moment, but I remember it was just one Halloween party where we're like, it's back.
Yeah.
Or this feels like normal again, you know?
Yeah.
Go until 4 a.m, it's like packed. Everyone's come, because it's also theme-based, and people love themes. So that was one of the moments where we're like, yes. And also we had one of my personal favorite shows is when we bought the Kiffness here. Because
The Kiff what?
The Kiffness. So he had blown up during the pandemic, because he started making these songs based off of things like cats memes. If I play you his videos, you'll know he is.
Probably.
No, he became really famous based off of that. And then I remember when we picked him up from the airport, he was like, this is my first international gig since the pandemic, since my son was born. He's like, are people expecting me to perform cat songs?
From SA or?
Yeah, he's from South Africa. It's like people expecting me to perform cat songs. such an amazing individual. Like, no ego. Considering the international success that he has, even like now and stuff like that, such a lovely guy. And then to have a show like that was actually pretty awesome. He was one of the people, he stayed, interacted with the humans, like calling the humans, I guess it's because of the whole cat thing. And because I think after that, we kind of realized how precious what we do, as like now me talking as a performing artist as well, that we are allowed to travel again, that we're allowed to perform for people. And I think he really took that in. And before that, we had an artist called Dobie, Yannick from Germany. He was touring, and he has a good Namibian bass as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and then we met, and then he performed. That was one of my favorite parties, because every DJ who played that night had their own kind of sub-genre of electronic music, and it just flowed perfectly throughout. And then we're like, yes, it feels like you know, things are kind of back to normal again. The scene is growing how it's supposed to be.
I see.
Yeah.
And you being a club owner now, would you say alcohol is bad?
Fine,
because it's part of the cash flow. It's what brings in the money.
100%.
But would you say alcohol is
I
some
believe
form of
anything,
exploitation?
if abused or taken without moderation, can be bad. Sugar can be that. Overeating and stuff like that. But if you drink to have a good time and you do it within limits, then I believe it is fine. Because even in I'm going to be a bit religious, but like, I'm a Christian and Jesus turned water into wine, so
That's
who
one.
am I to be the one to say it's bad?
Come on.
You know? But like I say, anything, if taken too far, if overused and stuff like that, can be. And it's something that you obviously have to be very careful with.
Yeah.
And you have to create a space that is safe for people to consume it, or as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that is something that we did take, we were very wary of, or be very mindful of, because we do obviously also have a bit of a younger crowd at Origin at the point and stuff like that. And you also have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah, people do crazy stuff when they're drunk.
Yeah, and then you have to have a staff from not only your bouncers, but to your bartenders or to the DJs who are on duty, who are even because that's one thing that I'm very proud of that we had created, is basically like a family. So everybody takes care of the place and takes care of the people who are in that place as well, from my cleaning staff to where they'll find a handbag with an iPhone 14 and money, and then it'll bring it straight back to the office.
That's a rare thing to find in a club.
But the thing is, they know that this is the place that takes care of us.
Yeah.
If you take care of the customers, you take care of the people, that flow will continue.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm a very firm believer of. If you take care of your people as best as possible, they'll take care of your place.
I know, that's
And
good.
your clients, which are the most important thing.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. And tell me, being now in this, working with a club, what are some things that you've learned that you'd say, this is something I would have never known if I never been in this clubbing industry and all that?
Ooh, that I'd have never known. Not a lot, because funny enough, I had been DJing for a significant amount of time in a club. I was a resident at Club London for a very long time. And I was very blessed to have a very strong and close relationship with Droopy, with Calvin Strauss. And with him, I could gauge a lot of what to do, and also sometimes what not to do. But he was very open, and you could see he led in a certain way, where even though there were certain things that happened, I would not be entirely surprised, because he had kind of done things in a way, in a very open book kind of way, that you'd be like, aha, okay, so if this is the kind of scenario. And it's also been taught how to expect anything. That is what I learned more than anything, to kind of be aware and be alert for anything. That's why having a good, especially bouncing staff, is very important.
Okay.
And just staff in general.
But let's talk maybe on the business side as well, because I one thing I've realized, because I recently tried out a beverage stall and trying to sell alcohol and all that. And one thing I realized that's I wouldn't say it's easy to miss. You probably would have to be really, really, really dumb to not notice that. But so when you're selling alcohol, right? I mean, the profit margins per se. Let's say you buy a bottle of vintage draft beer, a bottle of beer, or a can of beer, or whatever. You buy it for what? It's about $18 when you buy from the wholesalers. And then you go sell it for what, $30. Then your profit is $12. That's about a 40% profit margin, right? So one thing I noticed, because usually people are when you sell alcohol, you make double the money, whatever. Obviously, that's maybe with shorts and other stuff like that. But it's very easy to miss as well, because everyone thinks alcohol always makes money.
They don't understand that there's so much that's going into that. In that as well, that is paying off the bartender. That could be, if you're not paying cover charge, that's also your cleaning staff. That is covering ice. There's so many factors that go into what you're putting on top of that.
And it's all that has to be covered by the sales you make.
Exactly.
And I think as well, because also with things like alcohol, it's very fragile stock, right? I mean, things that can easily be wasted, easily fall or whatever.
Exactly.
Bottle breaks there. One bottle breaks, that's $900 gone, and all that. So how do you guys handle the business side of things? What are some tricks or new tweaks that you make that you could say, this is something we do that really helps out in terms of cash flow wise?
Like I said, especially with the people who are handling it, you have to have very good people. Like I said, your training mechanisms, for example, before you give a bartender their code, they have to earn it. Because obviously you don't want to just give away your tricks and tools. But I have a method that says, okay, let's see you work for this amount of time, even if it's for your tips first. Let's see how you get along. Let's see how my trusted, my senior barman will look at you. I'll even go and see. And then I'm like, okay, let's go from here. Because the thing is, you will always, like I said, not always, but there will always be proof, whether in the numbers or with the people or with something. If you're up to something, it always comes. It has always, and I'm like, maybe there's someone I haven't caught yet. I mean, they're too good, but for the most part, everything has added up. Because, like I said, I've got a very good staff, and also the systems that I've learned from like my partner at the time, Shay, to not as well. Because the thing is, like I said, in this, experience counts a lot. And if you can learn from someone, it fast tracks them so quickly. Then you can learn from, and they'll also teach you the mistakes they made. So you also either don't repeat them or you find other ways to go about it.
Okay, so basically you have to find a way of building commitment from your employees as well.
That is true. So human beings are fickle.
Yeah.
That is one thing you can never forget. So your stock systems, all those have to be in place. You know, and that is like all the nitty gritty into going into that. So that takes like, then that'll just all become a whole club running masterclass, which we're not here for. So it's like, no, how you count stock in that. So I'm not going to go into that, but those measures have to be taken place.
Okay.
And people have to be held accountable for that. So like, other than having good people, you have to have systems that people are held accountable for when things go missing.
Okay.
Things don't add up. So
Oh, okay.
It's like in any real form of business.
That's interesting to hear. So, but let's move a bit more on the personal side of you. So tell me of a challenging moment that you've experienced in your life, something that you've experienced that changed the way you see things, or that you could say, this was tough, and it was hard for me to get out of. Or it could even be your childhood or whatever you want to speak about. Like, did you get beaten when you were a kid?
Oh, 100%. Like, if my mom had not, I wouldn't be the exemplary gentleman I am today. Because the thing about it, this is my childhood. It's me. But it was fine until my younger brother came along. Because now he's 3 years younger than me. And now you kind of have a best friend for life, or someone who's always there. And it's the height of the WWE era. And then you're never bored, but we then end up breaking the beds because we play wrestling on them, and then, you know, there's a hiding coming the next day. So, but those aren't tough moments. Those are just moments you're grateful for the older you get as well.
Really?
But if you was to say a tough moment, it would have been coming back from Pretoria after my first year. Being very lost in terms of what I actually wanted to do for my life. Because I kind of grew up in a very difficult homestead in terms of my parents. Very blessed as well, you know, more blessed than others, but their relationship was very strenuous and it took a strain on us. So like in my first year, things were not great at home. And I was like the eldest son, like I had lots of struggles that side. And I decided I have to come back because it was my first time my mom was not doing well at all. Sister, my younger brother, all those things. And I also was studying something I did not want because my mom wanted me to be a lawyer, my dad wanted me to be an accountant.
A lawyer and an accountant.
So I
now you are a club owner.
That takes a very strange turn.
That's a very huge turn.
Because then I decided to go for, they call it the devil's degree at SB law, because it's like you're doing basically two kind of degrees at once. So it's like when everyone had like 6 modules and stuff like that, I'd have like 10. So it's, first of all, it's overwhelming. You're doing what you don't really enjoy. And back home, emotionally and mentally, you are just finished because everything back home is terrible. So I come back, I'm like, gosh, let me enroll here, do law, maybe then as well. But even then, my heart wasn't really into it. But I've always loved music. That is something. Then I'm like, one of my friends, I'll never forget it, Ethan, he went to, it was at Club London at the time, and then he's like, we were just at party, he's like, this friend of mine, I can tell you now, he knows how to DJ, it'll be amazing. I'm like, don't do it. It's like, then the guy, the manager at the time, told, he's like, okay, tell him to come next Wednesday. Then I'm like, okay, but bear in mind, I've never touched a CDJ in my life. Because at the time, everyone had virtual DJ on their laptop for some reason. That's all I'd been used to. And then I kid you not, the first time I played, I wanted to quit. Because I started with a friend of mine, very good DJ as well.
Was that bad?
It was bad because it's what you call train wrecking.
Yeah.
So it's like this is hitting against this, the songs are just sounding terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone, and you're like, what am I doing? This is not like it is on the app, on the program, on the on the computer and stuff like that. And then I didn't even know you needed a headphone jack at the time.
Yeah.
Because bear in mind, at the time we started, there wasn't as much information online as there is now. There wasn't as much access to it. So it's like you go and you're like, yo, this is not as fun as I thought it would.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, I played one song that Droopy really liked.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, come back again next week.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'm like, because I was in a very low spot because not knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing something I don't enjoy. I was missing class a lot of the time and stuff like that, just trying to figure out where. Then I'm like, okay, now I kind of have this new lease of life again. Something to focus on, something to channel my energy in and stuff like that.
Were you playing in front of people when you did that first set?
It was like very early. It was just like the in-house DJs.
Oh, okay.
So like,
And people are watching, yeah?
they're hearing. More than anything, they're hearing.
How long
You're
was
like,
it?
It felt too long.
I
It
can
felt
imagine
too long, but like,
Yeah.
no. Then from there, I was like, I have an opportunity to learn on this equipment.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a way to come back every week and just practice and practice until just everything grew from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was a weird point in my life, like the music helped turn it around for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. I've been teaching myself I started teaching myself how to DJ as well a while ago. The first time I DJ'd a paid gig, it's the only paid gig I've ever had ever since then.
What was it exactly?
So
how did it come about?
It was a corporate event, actually.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, a business I was working for. Now, actually, do you know the MTC Dome in
Yeah.
Soccermund? Yeah, I was working for them in the marketing industry. They needed a DJ for the evening. The one friend she called, the friend was gonna come use Bluetooth and whatever and play from Spotify. And then I'm like, I've been learning how to DJ. Let me show them how it's done.
How long ago was this?
This was like maybe a year now, a year or two. Yeah, maybe 2 years now.
And how did it go?
So the thing is like, I'm like, I can DJ, boy. So I've been practicing in my apartment, mixing up, making sure the songs are aligned and all that. And then when I'm about to DJ now, my crush walks in. That's where it was just game.
That is not the way I was expecting this story to go.
So I don't know if it's because I just couldn't DJ or it was because my crush walked in. But something happened. It is like, you know what? It was one of those day corporate events. So it's like end of year function.
Those ones are difficult by nature. Like
so now it's like they're sitting groups of white people there, groups of the Damaras group, and all of them want a different vibe.
Exactly.
So they're all looking at me like this.
That is why I said, how did it go? Because I can tell you, everyone's corporates and weddings can be some of either the fun, depending how you are.
Yeah.
But you need to have a bit of experience before taking those on.
Yeah.
And for you to say that was your first gig.
It was my first gig ever. But you know what I ended up just doing? I was just like, you know what? Song request. And I went on YouTube and was stored. And after like an hour or two, the CEO came to me when they were about to pay me. It was like I charged them like a little price. I think I ended up making 1.5 for those 3 hours or something.
Oh, nice.
And then he came to me and was like, you did a very good job. I was like, boss, it was YouTube. YouTube.
But the fact that you're crafty enough to understand that, okay, I need something else, and then like that was the smartest thing you could have done in that scenario.
Because all the songs they were calling for were not on my playlist.
Exactly.
I came with my deep house playlist. I was like, I'm gonna show them Afro vibes, whatever. And I go first song. By the time I reach the fifth song, all of them are just looking at me like we're at a funeral, man. And I'm like, how am I supposed to deal with these Afrikaans Zalis? There's this Afrikaans moms. We have the employees, the Oshivambo guys, and we have the colored sitting right there. And I was like, they don't pay me enough for this. So yeah.
But that's the beauty of Namibia as well. So it's the challenging part, but the beauty of it, because we're a very small population, but we're very mixed as well. Mm-hmm. So you will have scenarios like that, but those ones, they teach you to build on your music library. Because that's what I always say. It's like, even if you have a specific genre that you love, you have to love music first. you have to love it and respect it as a whole. And then you'll find that your career will take you places you wouldn't even expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's an interesting to say. I see you've played at Sound of Summer as well. Those are quite some big gigs.
Yeah, that was like, I love that festival because it started from Beach Bash initially.
Yeah.
You know, and the way these guys started was very minimal. It was just like a...
But I actually like Beach Bash more than Sound of Summer though.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everyone has their preferences, but I think it also is the pandemic did affect Beach Bash.
It's because of the volleyball. It's because of the
volleyball, and also it's like, I guess one cannibalized the other because it's like, okay, people also like, we can only spend on one at the time. Yeah. So let's rather go to this. So maybe that did affect it as well. Yeah. But like, it's, it started very organically and just grew and skyrocketed. Yeah. But I must say the highlight of my career is still Bushfire in Eswatini.
Bushfire in Eswatini.
Yeah, it was the first international festival I played at. Yeah. It was, which year is it now? So the first year was 2022.
Was that in SA?
Eswatini. Swaziland, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, imagine it's the first time playing, and they were doing it, it was at half capacity the first year. So then that was 10,000 people. Yeah. So then last year was full capacity that they could do, so that was like up to 20.
That's huge.
You know, imagine you're going into a place like you don't know the people there, they don't know you. Yeah. Thanks to Valentine's for that.
The only thing you have to represent you is your music.
Yeah, your music, and like you know you're going there representing like your country in a certain way. And yeah, it was, and it's a lovely place. It's one place where I say if you get a chance to, everyone should try and check it out. Like also just to see how beautiful Africa is. Yeah. Because I never knew there were forests.
There were forests.
Yeah, like there's like actual man-made forests in Eswatini and stuff like that, and just the people are super friendly, and there's people from all over the world. It's
that's quite
a really beautiful experience. And the thing is, it gives you that taste of like, okay, I'm able to hit this point. I want to do more of this. I need to work harder. I need to chase this feeling more often.
So you like to travel?
Yeah, and also if you're getting booked for your craft, you know, that is something that's, you're like, okay, cool. I've got a taste of it. I want more of this. And it's like, sometimes it's that kick you need, like that motivates more and more.
So I'm guessing you're probably like, you're a fan of black coffee?
Yeah, I'm a massive fan.
Yeah, black coffee is a legend. What are some of your favorite DJs?
Oh, like how long do you have?
Oh my God, just give us five. Just give us five.
Five. Yeah. Okay, this will be number one, I must say, Skrillex.
Skrillex? Oh my God.
Because if you understand the art of, let's say, even just music production, you understand just how versatile this man is. This man, and you won't even know it, he's made songs for Beyonce, he's made songs for Justin Bieber, but he's always been known as this dubstep guy, or this and that. But even just to start that whole movement, and his versatility, like to a key. If versatility was a person, you could put it as Skrillex. I mean, Vigro Deep is making songs with Skrillex right now.
Really?
In the UK. Yeah, that's how deep he is, but people don't know that side of him and stuff like that. But like,
I know his skill level is very
very like
good.
And how he'd mix, because in that also when I was starting that sound of like dubstep and trap, and like that's why even when I play like sets that are me, and let's say I sound something like Sound of Summer, I'll bring that sound back because it's like, it makes me happy. It's like euphoric, it's energetic and all those kinds of things. Then there's Steve Angelo, because he, I don't know if you know, like with Swedish House Mafia, there was a point where they took a break, and then it was Axel and Ingrosso, they were together.
Okay.
You could hear there was a bit of the romance in the music that was missing. Yeah. And then Steve Angelo would bring that, you know, he even started as a hip hop DJ to going into like the Swedish house DJ, and then it's like a genius. Black Coffee, for what he's done for the culture, what he's done for Africa, what he's done for, he's the epiphany of like, I mean, there are those who have come before him, but it's also, it's like kind of believing, having this vision and just sticking to it and believing in it. Because I remember I listened to his podcast with McG not too long ago, actually. It was out, and it was 3 hours, and I listened to the whole thing, obviously in parts and stuff like that. but he kind of visualized and envisioned where he was going to be. He's like, I don't just want to be, I want to be there.
Yeah.
So, and then he worked purposefully to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and everything is very intentional.
And he plays with one arm, man. I mean, like,
And some can say even like it takes, I need 3 arms to do what he does with one.
yeah.
You know, very skilled DJ.
And, it's very impressive, man. I think congratulations to him. And I think for the African artists, creatives as well, I think it's something to really praise. This alarms.
Yeah.
And something to really praise what.
For the most part, he opened the doors for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And also you can see there's that thing where there's strength in numbers, because now that there's more artists, African artists flourishing in the world, it hasn't dimmed his shine.
Yeah.
Because so many people kind of, I do think, believe in gatekeeping and stuff like that. But for the most part, and I've seen it, what's helped my career as well is if you create, and that's what Origin was very important for a new wave of dance music artists and DJs, because it keeps the scene alive.
Yeah.
It keeps you fresh. It gives you ideas. It keeps you growing as well. Because that, I think, is how art is supposed to be. You're constantly learning. It's something you can't master. And if you create platforms for newer people, it will help give you longevity as well in the end. That's what I've learned personally.
No.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to hear, because I think a lot of not enough of us think like that. And so that leads me to wanting to ask you, as we now come closer to the end.
Yeah.
What is a message that you'd like to share with people that are in the creative industries? You being in it yourself, you know, music, club ownership, and all that. What are some things that you think, you know, if people could do more of this, it would definitely be good?
It is easier said than done, but add value. Because the thing is, you can do something maybe because you enjoy it for the time of it, or maybe you feel it's just for the moment, or but then you realize you really love this thing and you want to continue doing this for as long as possible. So add value, whether it's to your sets, whether it's to the scene, or even just to yourself to get better. Because what I would do is, I'm like, okay, I like this pop song, but I'm like, I can't play it in my sets, because I'm like, so what I learned to do, I start making my own remixes of it. Or I start making my own mashups. And that within itself is value. Because it's like, I'm doing something that no one else is doing. Maybe I can't release it now because there's always so many things on the internet with copyright and this and that. But then people be like, yo, that, I can't hear that, or I can't get that anywhere else. The more you add value, the more you will be valuable, basically, in the itself, you know? And be intentional with it, you know, because I'll be very honest with you. I still think of it, I've come so far, and I don't think it is generally that far, but it's also because of luck. You know, not a lot of intent with it, but the more I've started becoming more intentional and stuff with certain things, more I started happening. Because even the music I make, I don't put it out too much, because I'm like, it's not at the level where I think it is, but you put it out to someone else, they'll be like, that is good, you know, that is different, that is unique. And also, like what Black Coffee says, trust your dopeness. Understand that there's only one you. There's only one you. There will only be one you. So if you are in this place where you are, it's for a reason. Because you never want to be that person who's like, yo, I was there at some point. I used to do this and this. Yeah, but then what happened? Nah, I just didn't trust my dopeness. You see? So the more you trust that, I believe, and add value to, you'll go further.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is where we end our episode for today. I should have brought a notebook.
No, you can just play it back.
Of course. I appreciate it, man. It's been good, so.
Much love, and love what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's definitely unique. Cheers. I don't know what to do from here.